Hi, my name is Chris Chop, and I'm the Transportation Director at the Greater Portland Council of Governments. Here today to provide a look back at calendar year 23, some of the investments that were made in transportation in the region, as well as the plans and policies and programs that will position the region for future funding opportunities. So we're going to jump into investments first and really look at some of the investments in public transit in calendar year 23. Over 30 million was allocated to public transit operations and initiatives in that year. And one of the projects that I'm showcasing here is 3.8 million that was allocated to replace the Down Bay Ferry of Casco Bay Line, serving Shebig, Cliff, Great Diamond, Little Diamond, and Long Islands. This vessel, the McCoy 2, reached the end of its useful life and needs to be replaced, and so we're contributing to that effort. We also invested in 2 new 24-passenger buses for the Regional Transportation Program, or RTP, their Lakes Region Explorer service that provides 4 trips per day between Bridgeton and Portland. Also distributed $600,000 for the Transit Stop Access Project to ensure that transit stops are more accessible for all users of the transportation system. $1.1 million in federal funding was allocated to support ridership recovery in the wake of the pandemic. This included several initiatives, including a half-price fare program launched by 4 different transit providers. And the transit operators reported a spike in ridership during that period, and hopefully we continue to see increased ridership in the coming years. Turning the page to Federal Highway Administration funding and investments made possible through federal funding, we allocated funding to 15 multimodal projects across the region, totaling over $6 million. These were projects happening in over 11 communities, including Alfred Street in Biddeford, which will see sidewalk improvements in the future. Main Street in Westbrook will see the same. We allocated funding to Falmouth Route 1, as well as funding for preliminary design for a Libbytown project in Portland that we'll take a closer look at in a minute. So lots of great investments in paving projects and multimodal transportation projects around the region. We also had 8 projects under construction in calendar year 23, over about $8 million in funding invested in these projects, including Washington Avenue in Portland. This is a photo showing the sidewalk expansion on Washington Ave on the peninsula, and this included shorter pedestrian crossings as well to make it safer and easier to walk and roll around Washington Avenue, an important corridor in Portland. We also have 12 projects coming up in 2024, so these will go out to bid for construction services. About $8 million in investment here, so lots to look forward to in the coming year. And then we've got 18 projects that we refer to as being in the pipeline. These are projects that are in conceptual planning or preliminary design, really as a requisite before they go to construction, before they're available for construction. And total is about $65 million in investment, including discretionary grant funding. These are competitive grants afforded by different federal government programs. And one project I want to spotlight here is the Libbytown project in Portland, primarily on Congress and Park, and converting those roadways to 2-way, including dedicated protected bike lanes, better pedestrian infrastructure, better sidewalks, crossings, and a roundabout at the former location of Denny's. And it's an exciting project, received $22 million in federal funding through the Reconnecting Communities program. This is the first project in Maine to receive funding through that federal program. So it's really exciting, and we'll look forward to seeing this project come to fruition in the coming years. This was a regional priority going back several years. And then we've done a lot with planning, policy development, and programs really to set the stage for what the future transportation system could and hopefully will look like. And it starts in January of 23. We adopted two different policies and plans. One was the Complete Streets Regional Policy. This is to ensure that all transportation projects are designed with all transportation users in mind. We also adopted Transit Together. This was an initiative that brought 7 transit agencies together from around the greater Portland region around a common goal to have more seamless schedules and service, really to better align routes and schedules between different service providers, and also identify opportunities for better coordination and frankly, in savings across these different agencies. We also adopted a Vision Zero action plan in May of 2023. This took a very data-driven approach to safety and transportation safety in the region. We looked at where the worst crashes have happened, where severe crashes are more likely to occur, where the public feels that there are transportation issues or challenges with respect to safety. And then we also looked at different equity data, where disadvantaged populations are living and how the transportation system and transportation safety could adversely impact them in the future. We also adopted in late 2023 a Title VI plan and policy. And this is a federal requirement and ensures that protected populations have equal access to information and also meaningful opportunities to participate in the transportation planning and decision-making process free from discrimination. This is an important federal priority and an important priority for our region as well. I wanted to spotlight the Gorham Westbrook Portland Rapid Transit Study. A lot of work went into this in calendar year 23, a lot of public engagement. We engaged over 2,000 people through this project, including pop-up events around the region, really where we went to the people to get input on this potentially transformative investment in the public transit system. And ultimately, the Greater Portland Metro Board, as well as the City of Portland and PACTS at the regional level, all endorse the locally preferred alternative. This is the route and the mode of travel between those communities for this future effort, which will be bus rapid transit. And we're excited to work with partners at Maine DOT and Greater Portland Metro and the 3 communities on the next phase, which is conceptual planning and design. So we're working with those partners right now and look forward to kicking that off and bringing this project to fruition in the future. We've also done a lot of work through our Mobility for All program. This is an effort to engage a broad range of community members and organizations in improving transportation for people who experience transportation barriers. And really all of this work really starts with our Community Transportation Leaders Program, where GPCOG team members and other stakeholders work with underrepresented communities so that they have the knowledge and tools needed for meaningful participation in the transportation decision-making process. And so many of these other efforts that you see here have been made possible through that effort and have really come out of ideas generated by community members that have participated in the Community Transportation Leaders programs. We're very grateful for their participation and their role in improving the transportation system for all users. We did a lot of data collection in 23, inventoried over 900 bus stops and transit stops and stations around the region to identify areas where amenities may be needed in the future, whether they're as simple as signage or benches or trash receptacles, better lighting, better accessibility improvements. So that will hopefully inform future investments. We did a lot of traffic counts as well through the use of MyoVision cameras that can count pedestrian and cyclist activity as well as vehicles. And we also scanned over 200 miles of roadway, assessing the pavement condition so that we can make more informed and data-driven decisions on where to invest limited funding in the future to preserve our roadways. And this just looks at 2023 by the numbers, kind of a recap of all the great work that went on in the region, both through the investments that were made as well as the plans, policies, and programs that will hopefully put the region in a really good place moving forward, and position the region for future funding opportunities and very strategic funding opportunities. And last but not least, wanted to thank everyone for contributing to the transportation system. Wanted to thank the public and the stakeholders, and our transit partners and communities, and Maine Department of Transportation for working together to create a better and safer transportation system for all. Thanks so much.